So yeah, I'm just going to go tell you very, very briefly how I started pike fly fishing. A friend of mine who is from France, I was out dead bait fishing and he landed out fly fishing, and we were fishing on a boat and he was going around us on a float tube and was catching fish left, right and centre. And as I am talking to you now, he was also talking to myself and my friend. And we could just see there is a lovely bit of art to fly fishing. The casting, just it's quite nice to, it's more relaxing. Unlike deadbait fishing or lure fishing, you're not doing a whole pile, but with the fly fishing, you are working for the fish. When you do catch a fish, it's quite rewarding. So that's why I think I got into to fly fishing originally, for pike. Casting, I learned how to cast from YouTube, which is the funny side of it. I was never shown, and it probably shows up in my technique. Like, there is methods that trout fishermen would be trying to show. Obviously, you know, you're not supposed to bring your rod past kind of the it's what, the 3 o'clock direction, and then obviously when you're striking forward, it's not to go past I think it's the 9 o'clock direction. But generally when you're fly fishing with pike flies, because they are so heavy and conditions, like, I know trout fishermen that will not fish if there is too much wind, if the water is not steady enough. But with pike fly fishing, you can fish all year round. So some days you are having to cast and you're trying to get the fly out. So if you see, my rod is going back a bit further, and you really have to force your rod forward. But pike will strike a metre in front of you. They could strike 20 metres out in front of you. Depending on what is their feeding pattern on the day, they will come in beside you. I've often had takes literally between my feet on the float tube, where fish have literally come in and I've seen them just nail the fly. And obviously I've had lots of takes where I will cast out, my fly will land, and on 1 or 2 strips back in, the pike will aggressively attack the fly, which is it's quite explosive. And obviously with the equipment, because it is quite light. So generally, why I would like to promote more pike fly fishing is because with lure fishing you're using 2 treble hooks. With deadbait fishing you're using 2 treble hooks. With the pike fly there is 1 hook, unlike the lure fishing with 6 hooks and with the deadbaiting fishing with 6 hooks. Pike, when you're out on the float tube, you are scooping, literally lifting the pike out of the water. Not like on a boat where a lot of people like to use nets. And what happens when a pike gets into a net and they have 6 hooks in their lips and in their gills, they will usually trash, which means they will go in a circle and they will wrap themselves up in the nets. Now, there are some very good nets on the market. There's a rubber mesh, which is the one that I prefer to use when I'm out with clients. But if at all possible, I prefer not to use a net because it is better for the pike. But with the pike fly, because there is only 1 hook, the pike is not getting damaged as much, because obviously 1 hook compared to 6 hooks is a lot better. And as well, with the 1 hook, the pike tends to fight for quite a long time because generally it does not know it's hooked, unlike 6 hooks on the lures. But the important thing with pike fly fishing is to get out there, to practice. Obviously, have a life jacket if you're on a float tube, because you know you could go in. It's important to have a life jacket on a boat as well. But practice makes perfect. I'm not fly fishing a terribly long time, and I've caught many fish and caught some of my best fish from this float tube, and it's very exhilarating. And as you see from the surroundings, it's very picturesque and quite a nice way to relax on possibly on your day off.